Hey Lavish fam, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Nisha, and on my channel, I do all things lifestyle, DIY, fashion, as well as a story time here and there. I sprinkle it in here and there, but today I had time to do one. Y'all have been asking for it. I've been promising it, but today I'm going to give y'all a story time. But we have a sponsor today, and today's video is being sponsored by Shop Package. So let's go ahead and roll that clip. Shop Package is a one-stop material procurement solution for home renovations facing U.S. customers. They have more than 200 curated material packages available to provide to clients different renovation plans. They also offer free 3D rendering services and AI-generated rendering for your reference. They only procure materials from quality brands such as Toto, Form Kitchen, and others. You can save as much as 40% from Shop Package compared to offline material stores. They also offer quick shipping, and you can receive your whole package arriving at your doorstep as fast as within 2 weeks. You can go to their website, upload the picture of your kitchen, and see different ideas for your existing kitchen and decide which bestseller material package works for you. If you are interested in this service, please click on the link and begin shopping. I will also include a discount code for all of you all to use if you are interested. Thank you so much, Shop Package, for sponsoring this portion of my vlog. And if you guys are interested in Shop Package, I will link all of their information in the description box, as well as any discount codes for their services. And we will go ahead and get started now with the actual story time. All right, guys. So if y'all have been following along on my previous story times, I have given the one about my daughter's father being, this huge drug dealer. I have given y'all one about the time that because I told y'all I was arrested by the feds. And I mentioned this friend in that story time. I also told you all about my childhood and how I grew up without parents and how, I had basically nothing growing up. Oh, Lord. Okay, so let's go back. So as when I was growing up, I was not raised by either of my parents. It was like, they say it takes a village, and I'm literally a product of that. I was raised by multiple different people, one of them being an aunt. This aunt lived on the south side of Chicago, and she lived in the middle of this block. It was in the Inglewood area. And I always was sent to her home for Christmas breaks, summer breaks, sometimes spring break. She has a daughter that is literally 3 weeks older than I am. So she and I were really, really close. So when I probably turned around a teenager, I was there for the summer, and there was this girl. In the previous vlog, I called her Kay, and we're going to still call her Kay in this vlog. And Kay was two years older than us. She was the same age as my sister, who's 2 years older than me. And Kay was interesting. So she was friends with my cousins, and being that I had no mother who was there in my life or father who was there in my life, and I didn't have nice clothes, I didn't have any of these things, she was interesting because she had those things. She had a really supportive mom. She had a really nice apartment that she lived in, and she dressed really, really nice. And instantly, I kind of was intrigued with her because she was very outspoken where I really was not. I didn't have much of a voice. I was very shy. And like I said, I was very intrigued with her. So she and I, became, when she met me or whatever, she and I instantly clicked. So, know how they say people who ain't ish tend to always recognize somebody else who ain't ish? My aunt, she and I, we don't talk to this day. We've had a lot of run-ins and lots of, you know, little scuffles, not fights or anything like that, but she was mean. She was really mean, and like kind of my whole family, there was no one really all that supportive. She was like very strict, and she was like, I'm your aunt, so do as I say type of person, even though it wouldn't even be right, the things that she would do or say. And she felt like she could get away with stuff like AKA smoking in my car because she my aunt. Baby, I don't smoke, and I hate the smell of smoke, and it gives me really bad headaches. No, you can't smoke in my car. I don't care if you my aunt or not. Like, it's rude. But things like that. But anyway, she told me when we were like teenagers, stay away from her. She trouble. But her kids, so this girl Kay used to come over, and she used to do my aunt's hair, and she would do, I guess, you know, my cousin's hair as well. But she kind of told me, stay away from her. She trouble. But I didn't stay away from her. I didn't take the advice. I didn't listen because I was intrigued by her. She had freedom that was different from my freedom. Like, I had freedom because I didn't have parents, but I also did not have freedom to kind of do the things that she was doing, if that makes sense. So time went on. When I turned 16, I bought my first car because I worked like 3 jobs. And she and I continued to be friends, you know, and at this time I was 16, she was 18. So whenever I would come up, she and I would go shopping together. We would hang out. By this time, she had a child. She had a baby by a drug dealer. And I'm not going to say a drug dealer. That little girl had 2 daddies. She had 2 daddies. And I don't know how this girl was able to pull this off, but they both were supporting, you know, this girl and her 2 babies. She would be fighting them. She would be like carving words into their cars. They would be doing all types of stuff. You know, I'm talking like, this girl was like something else, but you know what I'm saying? She was still my friend, you know, like I didn't get involved in her baby daddy's drama. You know, she didn't know which one was like her actual baby daddy or whatever. And they both was like, they both were supporting. So more power to her, I guess, you know, because that's like, that, you know, who am I to like, you know, pass judgment on her situation? So time went on. As I told you before, when I turned 18, I went to Chicago State. That summer, I stayed with her and her mom and her baby before I went off to college. And well, before I went and moved into dorms, because Chicago State is on the south side of Chicago. So I didn't go far. I literally first came to stay with my aunt for the summer. I actually graduated early. I graduated probably like February or March, but I went back to March, you know, whatever, for the graduation ceremony in May. And then I was completely up there for the summer. And my aunt, I don't even want to get into that situation. It just didn't work out. So I ended up staying with Kay and her mom and her baby. And they stayed in a 2-bedroom, but, you know, I was kind of like sleeping on the couch, you know, kind of, you know, whatever. But anyway, because it was only like a month or 2 before I moved into the dorms. So even once I moved into the dorm, she and I we still were friends. So whenever I was on break, I would go and stay at her home, or either I would go visit and stay with my sister, because by this time, my sister had gotten pregnant with my nephew, or whatever. So we, you know, I would go between their houses when I was, you know, off. So after my freshman year is when I met my daughter's father. And he asked me, where you know her from? And I was like, oh, I've known her since I was this age. You know, she was friends with my cousins, whatever. He's like, it's something about her I don't like. And he's like, you know, watch her. And I never like I was like, you know, he don't know her. But my sister also said, I don't like her. It's something about her. You know, she's like, she's not a good friend. Like, I don't like her. You know, because we don't listen. We don't listen. And I knew that she had her little ways, you know, whatever, but she still was my friend because I don't pick good people. I don't pick good friends. I didn't pick good guys in my life. I just, you know what I'm saying? I had really no voice. Anyway, fast forward. Now I told y'all I had been staying with them, you know, and I was like, she and I worked together at TJ Maxx, and I would give her mom, you know, money for me staying there. You know, whatever, I would help with like something, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a whole lot, but I would give them like, you know, she had food stamps because she had a baby, and she also was getting like welfare. So and then she also was working, and then she had these 2 drug dealer baby daddies. So, you know, money wasn't an issue, but I would still give something. So one of the baby daddies ended up going to jail. You know, when people go to jail back in the day, they used to call collect. Okay, so after I got pregnant, I didn't go back to Chicago State. I ended up waiting to after I moved back to my hometown, got my own place, and then I started going to college out there. So after, I want to say my first year there, so this is my 2nd year of college. When school started, I ended up getting into a really bad car accident. My best friend, Ariel was, I think, 1 at the time, and myself got hit by a drunk driver head on. And I was in a little like Saturn. So my car was completely totaled. Airbags deployed. By the grace of God, you know, only thing I had was like, all we had was like whiplash and like some little minor injuries, some bruising to my ribs, whatever. So after that semester, this was in December. This was 99. I decided I needed a fresh start. I needed to leave, you know, behind, you know, the situation I was in with my daughter's father. I needed to leave behind Illinois. I needed a fresh start to kind of, you know, break that cycle that I had going on with my daughter's father. I was completely in love with him. He was cheating on me left and right. He was kind of like stalking people so that I couldn't date anyone, which I told about in my previous story. So I'm not going to talk about that because this is completely about Kay. So she and I, like I thought, were still friends. So in December of 99, after I finished that semester of college, Ariel and I moved to Georgia, and we moved with another aunt. She was like, oh, I can help y'all get on your feet, da-da-da-da-da, woo-woo. Fine. So we went and we stayed with her. Right after Christmas, because I left right after Christmas, and then in January, I got a pretty good job. It was a temp to hire position at this really good, like, consulting firm, business consulting firm. And after my 90 days, they hired me, and the pay was really good for a person of my age and at that time. So I want to say in March, when I got hired, my sister also moved down, her and my nephew. And in April, so she got a job pretty quickly as well. So she and I started looking for a place together, you know. So she had a pretty good job, but I made like a significantly more than she did. But we were planning to get a 3-bedroom. We were going to live together. I had bought a brand new vehicle, so we were going to just make it work until she was able to get her one. So we are looking for apartments. We find one. I'm young. I never heard anything about credit. I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know to monitor my credit. I didn't know any of these things because it was never talked. No one in my family had ever talked to me about credit as a kid. Or we didn't talk about it in college or in high school. I never heard of it. You know, I didn't know anything about it. So we went to apply for the apartment. My income was great. Like, I had no issues. Please tell me why they was like, oh, you got this phone bill in collections. I said, who? I had a phone bill in collections. They had went to collections that was like probably $400 or $500. And I'm like, I didn't have no phone with this company. I never had a phone with this company. So I called, they said, well, you need to call a collections agency, get the information. So I called the collections agency and they tell me that I had the phone between this time and this time, and they would send me the information or whatever. Comes to find out, this girl had stole my social security number and had a whole phone in my name after I had moved to Georgia and was able to have a phone turned on after theirs was turned off because of her collect calls. So she had a phone put in my name with my social security number, with all of my data, all my birthday, my name, everything, while I wasn't even living there. And she was taking collect calls from one of her 2 baby daddies and ran the bill up. And then, of course, it got cut off because she didn't pay it, because guess what? It ain't her information. So when I figured this out, that it was her because it was connected to their apartment, I called her. You know, this girl told me it was my fault. That it was my fault that she was able to steal my social security number, and that it was my fault that, you know what I'm saying, just, you know what I'm saying, and didn't have no remorse. None. None. The only thing I can do at that point, even though they were like, it will take a while for me to do this whole investigation, I would have to dispute it. It could take like 90 days. I paid it. I had to pay it in order for me to be able to move into this apartment. All I knew is I better never see her again, because at this point I'm fuming. She's taking food off the table for my kid, and then had stole my identity, and then made it seem like it was my fault that she was able to steal it. I stayed with them. Who's to know that someone's stealing your information when you in the bathroom? They taking, you know, your social security number, because she knew, you know, my full name, my birthday, all this information. Fast forward a couple, so we never saw each other. But a few years later, I had some health issues and I ended up moving back to Illinois. And this is after my daughter's father went to the feds after my arrest, and then I went back. And long story short, I ended up moving back. I had some health issues. It was better for me to move back so I could be close to family and someone could help me take care of Ariel while I had this surgery. So I moved back. I'm visiting these cousins that I told you, the one that's 3 months older than me. I mean, not 3 months, 3 weeks older than me. And she's like, girl, Kay is looking for you. I said, oh, she is. Oh, yeah, she said that she want to fight you because you was messing with one of these said baby daddies. Now, I just got back. I ain't even interested in her type. I ain't even interested in him. I ain't interested in either one of her baby daddies. So I said, call her. Call her. Tell them I'm here. Tell them I'm at your house. Tell them at this on her block. So she called her. She's like, yeah, Nisha said, you know, she here, da-da-da. So she talking mad stuff. So she never showed up. I'm like, you know, call her. Because you know what? At this point, we got something to squabble over anyway. Maybe they use my whole social security number, blame me. I'm back. And now you trying to blame me for sleeping with somebody I don't even like. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you mad? How you mad? So, like I said, she never showed up. I stayed there for hours. She never showed up. Only for about a couple weeks to go past. And then she basically tells my cousin that, you know, she wants to apologize to me for everything because he lied and she was wrong for, you know, having this phone in my name. Me being the person that I am, I accept her apology because at this point it's you know, spilled milk. The bill is paid. My credit is, you know, good. I just know now I need to watch it because now I know what credit is. I need to be more cautious. I need to be careful. So eventually, as time, you know, went on, you know, she and I started being friends again. Now she is, you know, at this point, she's dating this pastor. You know, I'm thinking she's a different person. Comes to find out this girl had been having abortions in my name. When I tell you, I was like, why, Nisha? Why do you continue to be friends with her? My sister studied telling me, Nisha, she is not your friend. She is not your friend. You need to stop dealing with her. You need to stop dealing with this girl, whatever. And only way I found out about the abortions is because she was talking about how she had had another abortion. And because she hadn't used her name at all the places, she had to start being creative. And she's like, well, why do you care? She's like, you're not going to have one. That's not the point. The point is you're using my information, because they don't require any when you go to certain places. You can basically be anybody. You know, if you got the money, they're going to do what they, you know, do the surgery or do the procedure. And this was like years ago. So, you know, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And the thing is, you know, I don't know if I was offended, because now it looks as if I've done this, but I don't think I was offended enough, because I just kind of let it go, because it wasn't on my credit. It wasn't anything that was affecting me personally, but I knew I had never done it and I didn't have any plans to do it. So I blow that off. She and I still continue to be friends. We hang out here and there. Fast forward a couple years later. Maybe when I tell you this girl is something else. So we ended up, it was my birthday, and she asked me, what did I plan to do? And I said, well, I don't have any plans. And she was like, well, come hang out, I'll take care of the drinks. I'll take care of this. We can go out, bring some clothes, stay the night, whatever. So I had no plans. I was single, she had her own place at this point, so, I mean, at this point she has 3 kids. She's divorced because her and the pastor did not work out, but she had her oldest daughter who she had when she was still in high school. And then she had a set of twin girls who was the same age as Amani. So Amani was with her dad, and Ariel came, I believe, with me. So we hung out that day. Everything was good. She had her kids. I had Ariel. Everything was really good. And then later that night, we got dressed up and then we went out. So, I had told a few people that we were going to be at this place. We ended up going to this place, and I'm not a drinker. I'm not really a drinker. I may be like a one or two cocktails, baby. That's it for me. Anything more than that, I don't remember much. But I knew before I had that probably third or fourth drink that somebody had gave me for my birthday in a card $100, and then someone else gave me a $20, and then someone else gave me like a $50. So she was the designated driver and was just basically like, have a good time, enjoy your night, da 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 da. At this point, we get back to her house. I fall asleep on the couch. The next morning, I get up and I'm heading home. I get home, I'm taking a shower, I'm going through my stuff, realize that she had stole some of my money. I just don't understand, like, the girl she's always been in relationships with drug dealers. She works at the hospital. She has financial means. Oh, forgot to mention, before we went to the club, we went to this other event. It was like a Q event, I want to believe. And when the guy asked her, what's her name? Do you know she said her name was Nisha? Nisha. As I'm standing there, she's introducing herself as Nisha. Baby, I'm right here. So now, here I am trying to figure out what the hell my name's supposed to be, because she done already said, she me. She me. So when we get back in the car, I'm asking her, like, how you gonna say you me? You can't use my name if I'm with you. How much sense does that make? So we get past this point. She tells me she's always, it just comes to her mind to be Nisha. which makes no sense. Absolutely. So I'm Keisha, because I don't know what to say at this moment. I'm like, oh, Keisha, you know. So I told her, I was like, hey, we can't be doing this. We done squashed this whole using my identity stuff. I need you not to do it again. But then later on at night, she stole from me. So I get home, I realized that she has now stole money from me. I'm like, you know what? I cannot. Every time I try to be friends with someone, I realize that I have a bad habit of picking SAFs. When it comes to dudes, it's a SAN. And then when it comes to girls, it's a SAF. So I never said anything. I just kind of let it go because at this point, I'm a mother, a single mother of 2. I realized that I didn't need this type of drama in my life. So I just kind of, I just was avoiding it. We lived about maybe 40 minutes from each other. So it wasn't a whole lot to like argue about because I just knew I just didn't need or fight about because I'm a grown woman. And I knew that I could just not talk to her. So that's exactly what I did. I just kind of really didn't talk to her, didn't say much. Fast forward to me moving back to Georgia. I had heard from someone who was in our circle that she was dating one of my exes and that they had been going on vacations together, which I didn't care because when they're ex, they're ex. They're ex for a reason. And he always was like, and the crazy thing is like, she and him grew up together. They went to school together. He lived also on this block. And it wasn't no big deal to me until he friended me on Facebook because she and I wasn't friends on Facebook. He friended me on Facebook. And after a while, I kind of accepted it until I started getting these weird comments under my pictures. And it comes to find out it was her. And it'd be saying some like off the wall stuff that wasn't true, but it was her being, I guess, hurt that I had basically cut her out my life and decided not to talk to her. So I found out through the mutual friend because he happened to be at this party and he knew that it was her doing it. He was like, yeah, that was her the entire time. It was never him, even though, you know, he had already told me that they had been messing around, which I really didn't care about. So that's when I decided to like block her on everything. So a couple years later is when I think Dante and I got engaged. No. Couple years later, I want to say she messaged me to say happy birthday. And because I had blocked her, you know, whatever, and I ended up getting a new phone. I don't know what happened, but she was able to message me. And I'm like, thanks, but who was this? She was like, oh, you don't know my number? You know, did you block me? Absolutely. Absolutely, I did. And I told her, I was like, yeah, because you know what? That's not the life I'm trying to live no more. I was like, I'm going to end up in jail messing around with you. Don't message me again. You have a good life. And when my mom passed away, you know, she sent the message through my cousin to like say, oh, you know, tell Nisha, don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me absolutely nothing. Because not did she steal my identity once. She stole my identity multiple times. And the fact that I continue to be her friend like an idiot. I don't know why it takes me so long to let people go. But once I do, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. There is nothing that can happen to her or happen in her life that will make me ever say, let's be friends or I forgive you. Like, matter of fact, I forgive her because you know what? I'm not holding on to this, but I will never forget and she and I will never be friends. It's only so many times you can hurt someone. Like, who does that? You not only you steal my social security number, you steal my identity and use it for abortions. Then you turn around and was using my name right in front of me. And then you steal my money. I'm a whole single parent, just like you. However, you still out here running these streets and doing stupid stuff. And you're 2 years my senior. Like, get a life. So with that being said, I'm going to end this story time. I don't know what she's doing these days. So if y'all are wondering, I don't know. Last time I heard, she was in school to be a nurse. I don't even know what she's doing, to be honest. I have no dealings whatsoever with her. And I have not in at least 8-9 years. It finally hit me that she's not my friend. And I deserve better than that. Like, I'm going to just end this story time, y'all. And I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye.